Okay, cool. We're recording. This is the Kubernetes SIG Network meeting for September 6th, 2018. We're going to stick to release stuff. And only thing on our agenda right now is some failing tests, a few of which are marked as release blocking. So I think it'd be good to make sure we're on top of those. At least somebody's looking into them.
Can you pull that dashboard up, or do you have the list?
Yeah, let me try to share my screen. Okay. Can you all see that?
See something?
See something? Cool. So I've been looking at, okay, I can't change to that tab for whatever reason. Okay. This, no, not this guy. This guy, which is the SIG release.
Make your text a little bit bigger, Casey.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy, new keyboard. There we go. Is that readable?
Yep, that's better.
Nice. I'll get that out of the way. Yeah, so I was looking at what's listed as the SIG release master blocking set of tests. If we look for SIG network, there's kind of two sections here. There's this DNS failure, and we've got these guys down here, L7GC load balancing tests.
Someone updated about that the feature neg, whatever that is, got removed, but they forgot to disable the tests. So I think someone was working on that now.
Yes. Yes, I'm watching it.
So was that feature removed correctly, or is that something that?
Do we disable it and then re-enable it, or is it working?
So it's still disabled. So I can send a PR to temporarily disable the tests.
Okay. And then I guess the other thing is the DNS test, which I think someone said they were on.
Yeah, so I'm working on that. I found the reason why it's failing. The CodeDNS configuration is incorrect, so I'll change that and push a PR for it.
Cool, and that's this guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just follow up on the PR to say that you've got a fix for that.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Cool.
Oops. All right. So I think those are the only release blocking tests. There were a couple other failures I spotted, and maybe they should be release blocking at this point. But looks like the IPVS tests have several things failing.
Yes, are you here?
Yeah, is anybody on the IPVS stuff present? No. Okay, I will try to chase that up. I guess there's a question of, like, do we have the right things set as release blocking? Which I'm not sure how to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess IPVS is GA now, so it should probably be release blocking.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Hey, Casey, can you zoom your document a little bit?
Oh, yeah. This is just the meeting agenda.
Okay.
But, yeah. Should probably. Cool.
I see that the Cube ADM tests are still there.
Yeah, they're still broken, and that's a different problem than it was before. I had a general question around what is the deal with kubeadm. It seems like they always break. The upstream repo for Kubernetes Anywhere, which all those tests depend on, is like deprecated and only used for these things. What does anybody know what the expected future of those tests and that test infrastructure is?
It's a great question. I do not know the answer to
Okay.
that.
It just seems like every single time that I've taken a look at those kubeadm tests, it has never been networking related. It's always been test infrastructure. So I don't know who owns that, but at this point, I'm wondering if those specific tests that are failing. I mean, should we disable those? Like who do we talk to about that?
Yeah, I think we discussed this like
Probably a month or two ago.
several months ago,
Yeah.
and I can't remember what the outcome was, but I remember there not being a clear ownership of Kubernetes Anywhere or those tests, and it probably just kind of fizzled.
Is there an issue on this or that I'm not tracking?
An issue on what specifically?
On specifically, like, why do these tests keep failing, and who should own it?
No, there's no issue. I did file a specific one for this test flake, but there's also an indicate the status of this repo issue 556 in Kubernetes Anywhere that kind of tries to clarify or something like that what it's used for, and it says, well, anyway, I'll just link to that in the notes, and people can go off and read that issue.
561, you said?
556.
556.
Yeah, I just pasted it into the doc.
Okay, I'll go take a look at that and see if I can stir something up.
Okay. I mean, it says once kubeadm has a different solution for EDE tests, they plan to move to that and get rid of Kubernetes Anywhere. So maybe by 1.13 it gets fixed.
Maybe. I would like to go and understand what the timeline is. So I'll
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like a couple more items have popped up on the end of our list. Andrew, do you want to talk about this services controller ownership?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Andrew. I'm one of the co-chairs for SIG Cloud Provider. So I left a message in the mailing list like 2 weeks ago, pretty much talking about some of the changes that we're trying to make with services and routes controller. So based on the current owner's files for those controllers, it seems like I'm not sure if it's officially owned by SIG Network, but it seems like majority of the owners in that file are part of SIG Network. And previously we've been, I guess, like some of our work has been blocked or been pending for a long time because we have to get review from people in that file. And I'm wondering, like, based on the fact that services and route controllers, it is network related, but also like it's mostly just interfacing with cloud APIs and not really like, it's a bit of both, right? I'm wondering if it makes sense to share ownership with SIG Cloud Provider on those controllers, given that we're going to be doing some work around those in the next couple of releases. I just wanted to spend some time to like chat with SIG Network and see if that makes sense.
So this is Tim. I feel like the routes controller is completely cloud specific, and we probably should never have tried to generify it. That was probably a mistake in general. The services controller, though, sorry, I'm trying to put back. I think I'm just about to make a mistake. It's the endpoints controller that generates endpoints from services. The services controller is the one that kicks off all the load balancers and stuff.
Sure.
Calls ensure load balancer.
Yeah.
Is it doing anything else?
No, that's, as far as I know, it just adds nodes to load balancer pools and then just configures the load balancers, and that's it. But the fact that it's called service controller, like we should maybe rename it to like load balancer controller or something else.
Yeah, exactly my thinking. I think that is solidly the domain of cloud provider. Anybody disagree?
Yeah, sorry. I when I read your email, I took it to being moving ownership, which was like a little confusing. But if it's sharing, then
yeah, like, honestly, I think it'd be good to just have like 1 or 2 developers in SIG Cloud Provider to be in the owner's file, just so like we can kind of, look good to meet whatever PRs that we might want to do with those two. Yeah, like I'm not saying that we need to remove it from SIG network ownership because I'm sure you guys will run into issues as well. But
I'm
sharing.
curious, what is the proposed work? Because it's supposedly written in a cloud agnostic way.
Yeah, so one of the big ones is renaming load balancers.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other one is like we're finding a lot of cloud providers are running into like API limits with routes controller, and we think it's because it's overly aggressive with the way it lists and updates routes. So we might want to do like some caching or something in there, or some sort of optimization in the future.
I think all those things sound reasonable.
Yep.
Cool.
Good work. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. And then, Dan, you wanted to talk about some 112 stuff. So network policy in particular, it looks like.
Yeah, so I was checking the spreadsheet, the feature spreadsheet, to make sure everything was okay, and discovered that we accidentally never actually proposed IP block for 112GA. We had all of our conversation on the egress feature PR and then never updated the IP block one. So I tried poking the release people. I've pasted the URL for this PR in the chat. I tried poking the release people on that PR saying, hey, this is actually already done. Can we get it added? And nobody responded. And I'm noticing now in an earlier comment that there's a link to a procedure for getting an exception. So maybe we just have to do that. But I don't know if Tim, if maybe you wanted to just poke people or...
I think the process for exception is the right thing to do. Can you tell me what the PR number is? Or I don't have the chat on that.
Oh, it's Kubernetes features 367.
Okay. I think the right thing to do is to go through the normal exceptions procedure and just say, like, this was a snafu on our part of not getting it. And honestly, there's a 50-50 chance. Maybe 60-40.
All right, that's all I had. The egress, the egress one looks like everything is on track for. So
Cool. So that's the end of what's listed on the agenda. Any other release stuff that would be good to chat about here?
Yeah, I had a quick question about like bug triage and then adding labels on issues. I forget when it happened, but a while back, like a couple of months ago, some of the label things stopped working. I was just wondering if there's a set of things that we still know work for that stuff. Like, can we still tag things as area cube proxy? Is that not something we do anymore? I think SIG network still works, but
I think the SIGs are definitely supported.
Okay.
I forget if area is supported. I think area, there was area and there was component, and they were overlapping. One of them is supposed to be EOL. I think it was area, and I think component is supposed to stay alive.
Well, I also noticed I used to be able to have the ability to add and remove labels. I assume that got locked down, so I can't even see what labels there are anymore. But also,
Really?
I can't see that anymore.
I'll look at that.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I abused it and they took me off. As a joke.
I get you. We have such strong personalities in this group. It's like, oh, is he serious?
Yeah, anyway, I was just wondering what the current best practices were around, like triage for labeling for triage and all that kind of stuff.
It seems reasonable that the SIG chairs have access to those things. I will poke it and see what I can learn.
Okay.
All right. If that's it, then I think that's it.
All right. Happy release, everybody. Hopefully the next 3 weeks goes successfully and there's no major issues, and we'll have really interesting meetings in the next couple of sessions.
Indeed. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Till next time.
All right.